Hello, good evening, and peace to you all. Happy Tuesday. I'm so glad that you guys could join me this evening. If you haven't already, please take a moment to not only like the video, but share it. Tell them the embassy is live on this wonderful Tuesday evening. And as you can see, the doctors are still on vacation, but I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. I got a little something to talk about. So go ahead and like and share so we can get our numbers up. Again, peace to you all. Thank you for joining. I see some comments coming in. Keep them coming, keep them coming, keep them coming. All right, so we'll give just a few seconds to let some more people hop on here with us tonight, and then we'll go ahead and get into what I'm going to talk about this evening. Peace to you all. Peace, Sister Aisha. I see Sister Nicola. Peace, Brother Lindsay. Peace, Sister Treese. Peace, Sister Isabel. Peace to you all. Happy Tuesday. I'm so glad you guys could jump on with me this evening. And like I said, we'll give just a few more seconds to give opportunity for people to jump on. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like and share and let everybody know that the embassy is live. Peace to you all. All right. There's Sister Tamara. Peace. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So it is Tuesday night with Pastor V, actually, because again, like I said, the doctor's on vacation. So I'll be with you all this evening, and I'm excited to talk about what I have tonight. So tonight is all about relationships, right? Relationships is a topic that is always appropriate to talk about. It's always a topic of conversation. There's so many viewpoints and just things that can be said about relationships. So I'm going to give my 2 cents tonight, and I'm going to talk about relationships. And if you don't leave with anything else tonight, I want you to know that I believe wholeheartedly that relationships should be right. They should be right. And in true Pastor V fashion, I have an acronym for right. So I'm going to go through some quick points. And like I said, give you my 2 cents on relationships. So, of course, the first letter in right is R. And what R stands for is relationships should be reciprocal, right? And that means they shouldn't be one-sided. You shouldn't be the only one reaching out. You shouldn't be the only one doing the encouraging and making yourself available. You shouldn't be, the only one always checking in. If you find yourself in a relationship like that, that may be a relationship you want to check. And a good place to start would be talking to the person saying, hey, okay, I noticed some things, it's a little one-sided, what's going on here? Because it could very well be that maybe the person hasn't really noticed that they haven't been participating as much, or maybe the person doesn't want to be in the relationship. I know that's a hard truth to face sometimes, but instead of people telling you that, they just kind of don't participate. But it's good to get it all out on the table, right? We want relationships to be right, and they're supposed to be reciprocal. So if they're not, that having a conversation with the person is a really, really good place to start. Now, on the flip side of that, though, in relationships being reciprocal, if you're in a relationship and you're always the one on the receiving end, so your friends are always checking on you, your people always encouraging you, they're always making sure you're okay, making time for you, and you're not giving anything, that's also something you want to check. You don't want to be the kind of person where you expect to always receive from relationships and you don't offer or give anything, because that's a violation of what relationships are meant to be. They're literally meant to be reciprocal. You're meant to relate to one another. So it's not just about what all you can get from the relationship, but what can I also give and contribute? So those are just some quick points about reciprocation. So, you may want to take a quick look at your relationships and see if reciprocation is present. And if not, now is a good time to make a change or have some of those conversations. The next letter in right is I. Of course, relationships are supposed to be inspirational. The people around you, the people that you're in relationship with, they should be inspiring you, and you should be inspiring them too. They should be full of inspiration. The people that you're in relationship with, you should be able to look at their life and be inspired by what they're doing, what they're accomplishing, at their faith, at what God is doing in their life. I know me personally, I love to be around people that I consider to have accomplished great things. And even in some cases that are further ahead than I am. Why? Why would I do that? Why would I put myself around people who I would consider to be at a different level? Because how am I ever going to get there unless I hang around the people who've already gotten there? That's how I'm going to learn how to get there. So when I look at you, if you're in my circle, you're in my inner circle, you're in my, close proximity, I want to be inspired by what I see when I look at your life. Same thing with you. You should be inspiring others. What should you be inspiring them to be? You should be inspiring the people around you to be their absolute best. That's one of your jobs in the relationship. You should be inspiring that. You should be inspiring people to move forward if you see that they're stuck or even if they're going backwards. Now, this was specifically for you ladies. Okay. I don't understand how women say they're friends with one another and you see your sister, she's slipping. Maybe she ain't, maybe she ain't got herself together. Maybe you notice she's starting to look a little, a little frumpy. Or maybe, sis eating a little bit too much cookies. What kind of friend are you? What kind of sister are you if you don't feel the need and you don't feel compelled to, in love, pull her aside and say, hey, is everything okay? Is something going on? I see this going on. I really want to help you get back to where you were or to move forward. What can I do to help you? That's what being a real friend, being a real sister, a real brother, that's what it's all about. It's not about just letting people be around you, be comfortable and complacent and just, hey, you don't rock the boat so they like to be around you. No, when you really love people and you are having right relationships with people, sometimes you're going to have tough conversations, but you do it in love. You word things correctly. I'm not saying go and hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm saying really love them by telling them the truth. That's a sign that you love a person, is that you tell them the truth. So sometimes you're going to have those conversations, but you should make it a point. If I'm going to connect myself with somebody, they're going to be better because I was in their life. I said something right there, didn't I? You have to determine that if you're going to connect yourself with somebody, and with somebody, that they're going to be better because you were in their life. That's what we should be doing. We should be inspiring one another. You should be inspiring the people around you to dream big. Don't be the person in the group when somebody starts talking about their dreams and aspirations. Girl, why you need that bag? Girl, why you got to drive that kind of car? The car you got is fine. Girl, you don't need to start no business. You got a good job. Don't be that person. You are supposed to be inspiring people to dream big, to use their faith, to go beyond what people would consider the natural limits. Don't be a dream killer. Encourage people and really mean it. Really mean it. Now, lastly, in terms of inspiration, I'm just here to tell you, it's so important to have people around you who can celebrate you and you can celebrate them. And I know that's a lot of times easier said than done, but the key to that is you have to be whole yourself. You have to know who you are. You have to know your worth and value. You have to know that what God has for you is for you. And just because he blesses so-and-so or is doing amazing things in so-and-so's life, that doesn't take away from you. So that way, when that person is doing something amazing, you can applaud them. When that person accomplishes something, you can be their biggest supporter and you can be there and push them even to go further. That is what we're supposed to do. And you have to have these kind of people around you. So I'm here to tell you tonight, if you have people around you who cannot celebrate you or you cannot celebrate them, you need to check that. Whether it's you, maybe you have some inward things you need to take care of, or whether it's them. But either way, it's so important to have the kind of people around you where you can celebrate one another. And lastly, sometimes people think that, you might have a friend or a sister or a brother, maybe they're big accomplishers, right? Maybe they always crush their goals and, they always get it. And people assume, oh, they don't need encouragement because they're already rocking it. Sometimes you have no idea what people are going through. People can be crushing their goals. They can be hitting their dreams, and they could be going through something and be on the brink of wanting to give up. And just hearing it from you, hearing you tell them, you know what, you're doing a good job. I'm so happy to see what you're doing. I just want to tell you, man, keep going. You inspire me. That might be just a little bit of push they needed to take that extra step, to go that extra mile. So don't leave your friends out just because your friends are doing good. That doesn't mean they don't need encouraging. That doesn't mean they don't need celebrating. Celebrate and encourage the ones that are doing good, as well as the ones you see that might need that extra push. All right, next letter in right is G. Relationships should be God-centered. And I know this kind of goes without saying, especially if you're a believer, but not God-centered in the way we always talk about. God-centered in terms of, for the believer, your relationships should all be based on godly principles, right? We teach that at the embassy. They should all be principle-based. And first and foremost, as a believer, it's our responsibility to be a good example in relationships, right? Because think about it like this. If we don't do relationships as believers any different than people who don't believe like we believe, then what's the difference? The way in which we do relationships, the way in which we conduct ourselves and carry ourselves and operate in relationships is one of the main ways and main keys in which we even have a witness with people. So it's so important that we determine, no matter what relationship it is, I don't care whether it's with your parents, co-workers, sister, brother, friend, whoever it is, determine I'm going to do relationships by principles so that my relationship with God can be at the center and it can shine through as I'm relating to these other people. Now, what does that really, what does that look like? That means practicing true biblical forgiveness. I know it can be tough because sometimes people really do stuff to you that just ain't cool, right? And sometimes it takes us a minute to get over it. We've all been there, done that, but it is our call to really forgive. You have to forgive people. You have to let them go and release them, okay? So that means practicing forgiveness and really, really forgiving people. This is another one. The Bible says if you have an ought, go to your brother. Okay, so as believers, we shouldn't be mad at people and holding it in. Holding grudges, holding it in, looking upside people's head, avoiding people because we're mad at them when we don't want to talk to them. That is not how we're supposed to be doing relationships. Again, this comes back to having those tough conversations. Sometimes it's not an easy thing to say, hey, this made me upset, but do it in love. Go in peace. And if you feel like it's not going to be well received, if you just go by yourself, take somebody that you trust with you so you guys can kind of have that conversation together. But the point is, it is supposed to be our practice. If you're mad at somebody, you got something going on, talk to them. Spouses, that means you too. Don't be putting people on the couch or in the other room. Talk that thing out, get that thing sorted out. And then lastly, we have to walk in love. We have to show people what that looks like. We have to be patient. We have to be kind. So this is one of those things where we have to make a conscious effort that, hey, as I'm having relationships in my day-to-day life, I have to do it according to principle. And I have to be God-centered, let my relationship with God shine out so people can see, hey, Christians, we do relationships differently. We practice having right relationships. All right, the next letter is H. This is a good one. So relationships should be healthy, and the relationships that you are in should function in a way that don't make you sick. And I mean like literally sick. You shouldn't, after you talk to somebody, for example, you shouldn't have to go and pray for 30 minutes to get all the heaviness all out of your emotions and your spirit in your chest. You shouldn't feel that conversation all in your chest every time you talk to somebody. That is a sign that that relationship is not healthy because it's physically, emotionally, and spiritually impacting you. You are not a trash can for negativity, for doubt, fear, unbelief, worry. That is not your purpose in life, okay? And people's problems. You are not a trash can for any of that stuff. Now, I do want to bring some balance to that. There are going to be times and situations where people are going to need to talk to you, right? There are going to be times when people are going to need to reach out to you and they're really going to need you to love them and listen to them and be patient and offer sound godly advice. So I'm not telling anybody, let people suffer, or I'm not telling you to suffer in silence. If you need to talk to somebody, you remember at the embassy, call me. You need to talk to somebody, or, call somebody. Don't go through things alone trying to manage them. But what I'm saying, though, is if you talked to this person last week, you told them the truth, you gave them some principle, you gave them some wisdom, whatever they needed, and then they call you back the next week and it's the same thing. Okay, that may be a relationship you want to check, because they shouldn't be calling you to unload every week and now they feel better and now you feel horrible because you didn't took on all of their trouble and their worries and their problems. They just call to do their weekly dumping session on you. No, we're not doing that. That is not healthy, and that is not a relationship that you should continue to participate in that way. That person, they need to talk to God, get their relationship with God right, get some counsel, talk to their pastors. They need to do some other things other than dump on you every week. So if you're in a relationship like that, I urge you and encourage you to nip that in the bud very, very quickly. Do it in love, but nip it in the bud, because that is not a healthy relationship. Again, relationships aren't supposed to make you feel horrible emotionally, physically, mentally. They're not supposed to make you feel bad. So that's a surefire way that something's not healthy. What are relationships supposed to feel like? They're most supposed to make you feel happy. You're supposed to be happy to be in a relationship and connected to people. You're supposed to feel inspired. Relationships are literally supposed to push you to live your healthiest life in every area. It's supposed to push you to be healthy in your relationship with God. Your sisters, your brothers, your friends should be pushing you to live by faith, pushing you to live by principles, pushing you to get involved in serving your local church. Those are the kinds of things that they should push you to do. They should push you to be healthy mentally. If a person around you connected to you sees that your thoughts not right, they should be telling you, hey, you shouldn't be thinking like that. You shouldn't be talking like that, encouraging you in what's right. And then sometimes in your relationships, people have to push you to physically be healthy. I thank God for Sister Tamara. Her and I, we're exercise buddies now, and we push each other and we help each other. And I've come to value her presence in my life so much, because it's like, wow, this is what right relationships are supposed to do. They're supposed to push you to make you better. Amen. And then lastly, for T is the last letter in right, relationships should be time enhancers. That's a good one, right? Time enhancers. So here's the truth about time. Time is going to go by either way. Time is rolling. It's not stopping, and it definitely isn't slowing down. And everybody over 30 can say amen. But so time is going. And if you're going to spend it with people, it should be enhancing the time, and it shouldn't make you feel like you're wasting time. I'm going to say that again. If you decide to take some of the time that you're living and spend it with people, spend it relating with people, spend it in relationship with people, it should enhance the time that you're spending and not make you feel like you're wasting time. Relationships enhance time by creating environments of enjoyment. When you get around the people that you're in relationship with, it should create environments of enjoyment. You should enjoy spending that time with those people that you're relating to. If you don't, then there may be some factors there that you want to evaluate. When you leave from spending time with people, you want to feel like that was the best use of your time, not only for you, but sometimes for them. And going back to that example, you may have somebody that calls you that really needs some help. They really need that word of encouragement, or they need you to pray with them, or they need to run something past you, or whatever the case may be. If you're able to really have a right relationship with them and encourage them and be good to them, you should feel like at the end of the day that there is no other place I would have rather been than spending that time with that person. It should enhance that time that you're spending. Now, on the flip side of that, if you feel like you have a lot of time wasters in your life, you may want to kind of check that out. I mean, in some cases, there are going to be people in your life that are literally wasting your time. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but there are going to be people that come along where they just want to waste your time. And then you have to understand what's going on and say, okay, these people wasting my time. I got to put a stop to this because my time is too valuable to waste it. And this time is going on. I don't get it back. So I'd rather be spending this time doing something with somebody that's going to enhance my enjoyment, enhance their enjoyment, versus just wasting time. I don't know. I feel some kind of way about this one because that is one, I guess you would say, pet peeve of mine. I hate when people waste my time. So I'm real quick to get people wasting my time away from me, because I just feel like my time is too valuable for that, and I want to spend it with people who are going to enhance it. Also, in some cases, you may have outgrown some people. Sometimes, people are at different points in lives, and you may have outgrown them. And maybe the things that you guys used to engage in, you try to participate these days and it just doesn't do the same thing for you. That may be a sign that you've outgrown not only the situation or maybe what you guys used to engage in, but also the people. Sometimes you outgrow people. And I know that's hard because we love people, right? It might be a family member, it might be somebody that we were really close to. But it's important for you to be able to tell the truth about that. And if you guys can't get on the same page, if they can't come up to maybe where you are now, it might be time to reevaluate that relationship, because you don't want to be in relationship doing things that you're not comfortable doing or feeling like it's a waste of time and you just going through the motions, because they're not getting all that they could be getting out of that relationship either when you do that. And then that brings me to my next point. Sometimes if you feel like, oh, everything's always wasting your time, sometimes it could be you. Sometimes you may not be doing your best in relationships, and you may not be doing everything you can to enhance the time that you spend with people. One really important key, again, about having good relationships is that you have to be whole. So sometimes that means being unselfish. Sometimes you are going to have to be the person where, no, we're not going to do your activity every single time. Sometimes you got to do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to my husband. My husband doesn't like to shop, so trying to get my husband to the store is quite a task, but he's come a long way. He'll go with me and he'll deal with it. But I can tell, this really ain't his thing. I know I see some comments that sound like that. Some other people can sound like some other people can relate, but he's a good sport. And so, but I don't take him shopping all the time, right? Because that wouldn't be me having a right relationship. So sometimes I go and do things that he wants to do. He really likes to watch space movies, and that is like my least favorite genre. I watch almost anything else. I don't like space movies, aliens and outer space and Lost in Space. That just doesn't do anything for me. But because I'm practicing having, a right relationship with my husband, I watch space movies and then he goes shopping, and then we try to make the best of it and enhance that time that we spend together so everybody's happy. See how that works? Sometimes it's you. Sometimes you have to put in that extra effort. Well, again, I want to thank you all for jumping on tonight. I hope you heard something that, was a blessing to you, or even something that just made you think. But at the end of the day, I want to challenge you. I want to issue a challenge tonight. I want to challenge you to examine the people around you, examine your relationships, take a real hard look at them, and make sure that you're having right relationships. If there's something that you can do more, do it. If you can inspire, if you can encourage, do it. If there's some relationships that maybe it's time for them to be over, go ahead and make that move, because you want to make sure you're having the right relationships. You don't want people wasting your time, and you definitely don't want to be a trash can for negativity and things like that. Well, God bless you all. Again, thank you for jumping on. Please join me tomorrow night for Retain the Rain at 7:30. I'll be talking about that favor flow. I look forward to seeing you then. Have a wonderful night and go with grace.